Rev up your engines!
All right, Toyota was hit with a $60 million fine for scamming their customers to buy extra things that they didn't necessarily want. They call them product bundles. You know, they bundle together like those stupid insurance things. These insurance companies always say to me, bundle and save, bundle and save. Well, I had an insurance, and I thought, okay, I'll now bundle my car and house insurance, right? So I looked at the bundle, and if I bundled my car insurance with their house insurance, it was going to cost me $2,000 more a year for the house insurance than I was paying right now. So bundling is a lot of horse manure, right? Don't believe any of that stuff. Well, in this case, they're selling people things they didn't necessarily want, forced it upon them. So Toyota's got to pay for $12 million civil fine and $48 million back to the people who got ripped off. Hey, thank goodness, finally, some of the money's going back to the people. A lot of times they have these big fines, right? And the government gets it. You don't. What good is it to you, right? But in this case, $48 million is going back to the people who bought them, who got screwed over by saying, oh, you got to take this bundled deal. Here's one of their main problems. The main problem was that scammy insurance, warranty insurance, right? They were offering products, typically between $700 and $2,500 per loan, that offer protection when a vehicle is stolen, damaged, or need parts and service after the warranty expires. Thousands of customers using Toyota Motor Credit were lied to by dealers about whether these products were mandatory, or they rushed paperwork so folks wouldn't realize how much they were paying. I'm sure it's probably even more than that, but that's what they settled on, was $48 million back to the people who got screwed over. I mean, I had a customer, you remember the video I made in Houston years ago where they tried screwing this little old lady. She was paying $30,000 for a truck. Then it was 42 when she got her first payment. And they said, oh, no, you signed the agreement. They were old. They didn't know. And the salesman was a scumbag. He added all this crap on. And they signed it not realizing what they had signed, right? The dealer manager said, nothing I can do. You signed the paperwork, until I made a video of it. And then she comes the next day after the video, and the guy says, oh, no, don't talk to Toyota. Here's a check for $12,000 because they got caught by me. Well, these people got caught by the government, and they got to give $48 million yet. So don't be pressured into crap that these scumbag salesmen are trying to sell you. Well, Ford won a lawsuit in a class action lawsuit against F-150s. On a technicality, of course, the judge threw it out. Turns out that Ford is using Hitachi, Japanese, step-bore brake master cylinders. The seals aren't good. They leak and cause wrecks, have problems with them, right? And if you know anything about Fords, it's true. They have had problems with them. Ford, of course, saying, oh, we didn't make a mistake. Oh, no, they have various different Hitachis that we bought. They've changed them over time. They're not all the same way. And the judge, of course, this is a judge in Michigan. Okay, Ford's headquartered in Michigan. Sounds like a shady deal to me, but regardless, they let Ford win and say, I know, Ford didn't make any mistakes. They're making mistakes every 2 seconds at Ford. There isn't sufficient proof of commonality, which is one of the threshold requirements for class certification under Rule 23 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Yeah, technicalities, let me tell you, as a mechanic, they made these things wrong, right? But they don't want to stand up to it. Well, actually, Ford didn't make them. They bought them from Hitachi. Yet another problem with Ford Motor Company. Instead of having Henry Ford, vertical integration, they got horizontal all over the place. They're buying parts from a Japanese company. It doesn't work out right. And then they don't even want to stand behind the problem that they had. Instead of being honest and saying, yeah, we screwed up, we got to fix these, they're just walking back, no. There's not enough commonality in this, said the lawyers. And so the judges threw it out. They've decertified a previous judge, this is a court of appeal, who said, yes, there was commonality. This guy said it is. Now they're going to another level. And the lawyers for the plaintiffs, who said Ford screwed up with these master cylinders, said, the element of commonality is supported by the law and facts, says the Miller firm. Stay tuned. We'll see. Will a higher court say, yes, there is commonality, right? I know. It's ridiculous. Ask a mechanic, they'll tell you, yeah, they screwed up. They break down all the time, right? They just want to fight it tooth and nail so they don't have to pay for the mistakes they made. Mark Snodgrass says, I got an oil drain with rubber on it. 2020 Jeep Compass. Oil drain plug is the flange that is a rubber coating. I'm guessing no washer. I put oil on the rubber gasket on the oil filter. Should I also put some on that, the drain plug? Yeah, go ahead. Realize, though, they're cheaply made and the rubber on your drain plug will eventually come off of the drain plug, and then it won't seal right. If I were you, this is what I do, because they're cheaply made, that rubber crap, right? What I would do would be, I'd get a buffer, and I'd buff the rubber off completely, whatever's left of it. Then I would go to an auto parts store and say, I need an oil drain gasket that fits this. And then they can try different ones till they find one that fits perfectly. And that one that fits, buy 3 or 4 of them, and every time you change the oil, change the gasket. Gaskets are safer. They crush. The rubber eventually is going to come apart, and I've seen them where they come apart apart, then they get loose and fall out and the engines blow up. So I would buff that rubber off, and I would buy gaskets that fit and change the gaskets. The rubber is just a cheap way of making them. They don't have to make the gasket, but it is cheaper to make them that way, right? They don't have to put on the plug and then the gasket and screw it in. They just screw the plug in that's got rubber in it. It's a stupid design. Get rid of it, bypass it, and put a regular gasket in it. Auto parts stores sell all sizes. They'll find one that fits. Ethan Marr says, how can I keep my cars lasting as long as I can? I got a 98 Honda Accord that's 2.3 VTEC. It just hit 200,000 miles. The transmission's feeling a little clunky. And I got an EGR code for valve lift insufficient. I've also got a 90 Dodge Dakota 3.9 with 167K that's set for 5 years. I got it going with a new coil. What can I do to keep them running? All right. Well, the Honda depends on where you live. The stupid EGR thing, if you don't live in a place where they do emissions testing, leave it alone. The car runs perfectly fine. Just leave the stupid thing alone. The transmission is the weak point. You said it feels a little clunky. Well, it's old. Baby that. With 200,000 miles, it's too late to change the fluid. Just baby the thing. See how long it lasts. As for the Dodge, I'm not a Dodge fan, but back in 90, they were made a lot better. You got it running. My advice with that, it's sat for years. Look at all the rubber, change any rotten rubber, flush out the cooling system, flush out the brake system, and then change the oil in both of them every 5,000 miles using full synthetic oil and a synthetic oil filter, and kind of baby them. They're old vehicles. You beat an old vehicle, you're going to burn out the transmission. The Honda's already starting to go, and the Dodge will soon if you beat it. But if you baby them with the transmission, say they could last quite some time. Well, here's yet another reason not to buy an electric car, and especially a Hyundai electric car. A man in Ontario had a problem with this Ioniq, that Hyundai electric car. It was a 2017 Ioniq, fully electric car. Couldn't find out what was wrong, but then he brought it in again, and then they said, well, you're going to need a new battery. And with tax, labor, it was going to cost him $50,000. I'm not making this up. 50 grand to change the battery. He had like 175,000 kilometers, and the warranty is 160. They give you this baloney. You watch the ads of Hyundai, and there, here's our unique electric car. It's so great. It's so great. Guys got a few miles over the warranty. They won't fix it, and they say 50 grand for a new battery. Now, I know things are more expensive in Canada, and the Canadian dollar is worth less than the American dollar, but regardless, $50,000 is a lot of money for a stupid battery in a car. Can you imagine? $50,000. You got a gasoline on your car, your engine blows. Hey, maybe you'll have to spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 tops to put another engine in, right? Not 50 grand, baby, not 50 grand. And of course, these are fully electric cars. There's not really much aftermarket for these things yet. So you got to buy it from the dealer, and they're going to charge you whatever they want to charge for the battery. And in this case, he junked the car. He said it's not worth fixing this stupid thing, right? And with no battery, you can't drive it anywhere, right? It's not like a hybrid car. If the hybrid part breaks, you can still drive it as a gasoline car. It'd be kind of slow, but you can't do that with an all-electric car. The battery goes bad. You have to buy a battery. So 50 grand for a battery. Hey, think about that the next time you're shopping around for an electric car. Well, I just read an article in the Wall Street Journal that said GM's driverless taxis need to slow down. An interesting double entendre, because they have to slow down so they don't hit people, but they're talking about slowing down the attempt to normalize driverless taxis because the technology isn't there yet, and they are losing their shirt in value. People are running away from the driverless taxi companies. The CEO resigned. They got all kinds of problems, right? Forget this. No, here comes the future. It's here now. It's here now. GM has thrown billions of dollars into the stuff, right? They're not going to run away right away, but they need to slow their jets, cool their jets a little bit, and start thinking maybe we should move a little slower. They're not ready for prime time. Maybe we should test them more out in the desert or something, where there's no people, where nobody's going to get injured, right? At least it shows one thing about Elon Musk. He's smarter than some people think, because you see Elon putting out any driverless taxis? No. Even though he calls his BS system full self-driving, it isn't, right? The wrong name, that's just plain stupid. But he's not making robo-taxis, right? And GM thought, we'll get a hitch up on him. We'll make driverless taxis. And then they'll smash into things and cause traffic jams, right? They do need to slow down, or they're going to lose more money on it. Eventually, though, of course, investors will give up. They'll see so much money is lost in this. They'll pull their money out of GM. GM will be screwed. So GM's kind of at a crossroads now. They want to ramp it up to make a profit, but They're losing so much money. If they keep ramping it and losing more money, the investors will go out the back door to someplace else, realizing, hey, maybe this robo-taxi thing is a fantasy. What do we care? We like talking to taxi and Uber drivers. When I'm riding in a city, hey, I like talking to the Uber drivers. We went to Chicago. What did we do? The Uber driver told us a great place to eat, and she was right. So I don't want to talk to a robot car. I'd rather have humans. They got jobs. They support families and all that. The heck with this computerized robot taxi crap. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.